Hey guys, Westy here. How you going? Hey, listen, I'm going to do a few tutorials here on basically flying helis on Phoenix. Basically, what I've found, one of the other guys on one of the forums actually found this for me, but when I tried it, it was actually quite a good heli to do it, and I found it was really easy to fly, and it still gives you the same motor skills that you require. So what you want to do is change your model, go to model, and then change, and then go down to helicopters, performance, and right down the bottom there's a nice little heli called the MA Whiplash 90 Nitro. So go finished, and I'm just going to give this a quick test fly just to see whether it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you can do if you find that the cyclic's giving you too much. I'm moving it now. If it gives you too much grief and you can't quite control it and it's a bit fast for you to react, and what you can do is you can do it two ways. You can go into model and edit, and then go down to control expo, and then click in-flight tuning and tick the expo and aileron boxes, okay, and then finished. And then on the side here you'll see in-flight tuning just here, and you can click that out, and then what you can do is you can increase anything above 0. See, it's minus there, but anything above 0 is actually giving you positive expo. So we'll try 20% on, and make sure you match both of them the same on both aileron and elevator. Okay, so we'll give that a try. Just slowly spool it up. Just get it so it's just about to take off, and then swing it around, and then just move your cyclic and just see how reactive it is. So this is quite sluggish for me, but that's because I'm used to doing your reactions. And if you, as you can see, I'm only putting in a little wee bit and then going back to center just a little bit. If you see what I mean, I'm waiting for it to move off its axis, and then I'll give it the opposite, and I'm kind of watching the combination of the shadow and the heli and where the smoke is to get it nice and hovering. Okay, now this is tail in, and you want to practice doing that. So forwards, this is the easiest one to learn, and it's also the best one to master, because once you start getting into other orientations, you want to be practicing how to get back into this mode so that you can get back to your safety. You're comfortable with this, and the reason that you're comfortable with this is because forwards, back's back, right's right, and left is left. And that's why it's easy, because you're looking at the heli, it's doing exactly what your controls are doing. Okay. Now when you're in other orientations, it's completely different. Although the actual controls are doing the same thing on the helicopter, the way that you're looking at it's completely different. Okay, so I'll just put it down. Now, what you can do also as another trick is you can go to training, and you can go to hover training. And in hover training, you can set it up so that, I'll let it drift off, but you can set it up so it's basically doing elevator only. So what that's doing is you can control the elevator, but anything going sideways and it won't do anything. Okay, so you can just watch that shadow and just practice moving it just slightly, and then just relaxing your thumb back to center. Okay, you'll see the shadow starting to move, and then it drifts forward and then back. You're going to always have a little wee bit. You're always going to be putting in some sort of input, just little wee bits, like you're talking a couple of millimeter, and then back to center, and then the opposite, back to center. Alright, and then once you get better at that, you can try click on the box down here, and then go aileron only. and then practice your left and right drifting. So you see how you've got all the control in the world over here, but it controls the elevator. Forwards and backwards isn't working. Okay, so you'll find that you're probably, all over the place. But if you learn that you're just doing like, I'll get it back to, see, it's kind of like a pendulum. See how I'm just doing little wee movements, and it swings off the radius, and then you give it a little bit, and then back to center, a little bit back to center. So whichever way it starts drifting off to, you want to just give it a little bit of a tweak to the opposite side until it stops and release. So I'm just giving a little bit of a tweak. Okay, so this is tail in. The beauty of this training is what it is. It's actually telling your hand and your brain what to do when you see your heli do that in that orientation. Okay. Now let's just try. You can do, and you can also set it up for aileron and elevator and aileron. So now you've got full control in all directions. See, you've got forwards, backwards, and it'll go diagonally. So we'll just get it, and you'll notice that when you first start learning how to do it, you'll be all over the place like this, and you'll be over-correcting, just like when you're learning to drive a car, really. So what you want to do is get it into a hover, and then just add those little movements. So you're not using any throttle stick at all, that's controlling that for you. And just little movements. When you see it drift off, give it, you know what I mean? So just like that. So you're also doing 45-degree movements as well on at 2 o'clock, because sometimes it's going off on a diagonal. So you'll be not just going 3, 6, 9 and 12, you could be going to 2 o'clock, to 8 o'clock. So you'll get the hang of it, and then you can actually play with all controls, and you can also do inverted, and you can learn the inverted way everything works inverted, but it controls your throttle in that for you. So you just click on that button there to do inverted. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's reset. That's what it is. Okay, so yeah, and then what you can do is you can have all controls, but you're just talking rudder. You're not, they're controlling the throttle, because when I use the throttle, it's doing nothing. But you've got control of the orientation, and you've got control of all of the cyclic controls. It's a really good way to actually learn one control at a time. Okay. Okay, so then once you've got tail in, that's tail in. Okay, so the orientations are like this. I'm getting a bit out of control here. So we've got tail in, we've got nose left, and then we've got nose right, and you practice all of these orientations to learn how to hover in all of these orientations, and then we want to go from there into nose in. But you don't want to do that. Basically, you want to practice the first 3 first, so that because I'm really not that good at nose in, but I'm not too bad. I can control it, especially when I'm actually, there we go. Okay, and then you can spin it around to nose in, tail in. Okay, so yeah, I've got all the controls here, so rudder and all the cyclic controls here. But once you actually change the orientation, so let's just say you've got tail in sorted like that. Okay, you've got all the controls. You can keep it within a 1 meter radius. It will pendulum within about a meter radius. Hopefully less. If you can get it within a foot radius, then you've got excellent control skills. Okay. like that. See, I've got all the controls, rudder and everything. This throttle is not controlled. So don't worry about throttle just now, just all the other controls. So just bring one in at a time. Okay. Alright, so we can change that back to elevator only. And you've just got the forwards and reverse. The side ones aren't doing anything, okay? And your rudder's not doing anything. So that's a really good way to learn those controls. So once you've got tail in perfected, and you've got all the controls, and you can do like 5 minutes of actual flying like this with your rudder control and everything, and keep it within that meter radius. Once you've got that sorted, then depending on what handed you are, you might find out if you're right-handed. Most people like to learn how to do nose right first, and your controls kind of change. So okay, so once you've got the tail in sorted, then you can start looking at nose right. But you can actually go back to the basics and go, okay, well I just want to do elevator only, and then change it to nose right. Oops, sorry, nose right. Yeah. So now I've just got elevator only, and look what happens when I push backwards on the elevator. It goes to the left, and then when I go forwards, it goes to the right. So everything's changed, and that's why it's good to actually you'll get the feel of each different control as you add them in. So once you've got that sorted, the forwards and backwards, to see how that operates, we haven't got any rudder control, we've got no aileron control, only elevator. But see, it's going forward, and it's going right and left, isn't it? Okay, so then once you've got that perfected, you can go from elevator and just go aileron only. And when you go, see, it comes towards you and away from you. So this will actually really get your skills honed in those two different operations of those two different orientations. Okay, and then once you've got that sorted, then you can go and put in elevator and aileron. So now you've got your elevator and you've got your aileron. It gets a little bit more tricky when you're doing all four controls. Okay, so you can, if you go too far out, it's gonna go nuts and start again. If you do it all wrong, it'll stop and you'll restart. Okay, so practice those, and then once you've got those orientations sorted out, that particular orientation sorted out, then you can start adding in the next control, which is your rudder. And this is where you can start practicing your bailouts. And what I mean by bailout is this. Hang on, we'll just add all controls in. So if it all's starting to turn to custard and you're getting real uncomfortable with it, you can actually just go into tail and hover. And that's the beauty of learning that first orientation. You'll be able to recover by and you'll learn, okay, I've got to go 9 o'clock on the rudder to get that quickly to this position. Or if you're this way, I've got to go 3 o'clock to the rudder to get it to tail in. So the quicker you can get it from any orientation to tail in, you'll gain control and you'll just be able to relax and land it if you need a break and, shake your fingers out. But yeah, so that's pretty much the best way of learning how to do each orientation. So you need to learn to do tail in, nose right, nose left, and then the last but not least is nose in. Okay. Now what I found was when I really started flying out there in the real world, even though I could fly really well nose in like this, actual reality was a lot more adrenaline and fear involved, and it was really, really difficult for me to get the hang of that. So what I'll do is we'll start, once you've actually perfected those orientations, the tail in, the nose right and the nose left, then, only then, can you start learning to do slow left and right circuits. But you won't be able to actually do full circuits, but you'll be able to do like what I call left and right circuits. and that means that you'll be able to fly around quite safely because you've got 3 out of the 4 orientations sorted. All right. So yeah, so once you get the hang of it, you'll be adept at this in no time. It may take you a couple of weeks at least to get a couple of orientations down, but the more you learn, it's all about using your motor skills, and you can just add one of those controls in at a time, and you're away. So that hover training is excellent for doing that. So I hope you enjoyed the first of my training tutorials, and get this to stop, and that's the Whiplash there, the Whiplash 90 Nitro. And so I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're going to learn something from that. And patience, you might get bored, but I'll tell you what, it's really, really important. It's like if you go and fly and you don't have those orientations sorted out, you basically, I can count down from 50 seconds and you'll probably be packing it up in a million bits, and you'll be spending a couple of $100 on repairs. Okay. One thing though that I have noticed, a big difference to flying in the real world and flying out there in, I'll get this training off. So you just go to training and none when you want to turn it off. One thing I have noticed is when you actually are trying to learn to fly, which I'm actually going to go into in the next video, we'll leave it for the next video. So stay tuned for the next video, and we'll go into the tricks and things that just aren't quite the same in Phoenix and real life. So thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the show, and I really hope you get some benefit out of that. So you've got to get those 4 orientations down, even if you just get 3 sorted. Tail in, nose left, nose right. Remember, whichever the way the canopy's facing is which direction it is. So nose left is canopy's facing towards the left, nose right, canopy's facing with the nose to the right, and nose in, you've got the canopy facing with the nose in towards you. Okay, so I really hope it helps, and enjoy. This is Westy over and out. Tune in for part 2.